Hello to all astrology lovers. In this video, we will talk about the full moon in Taurus, which will occur on November 15th, 2024 at 11:28 p.m. We are expecting a full moon in Taurus at 24 degrees. This full moon, of course, has its own peculiarities, one of which is the presence of retrograde Uranus in Taurus, just 1 degree away from the moon, with Uranus at 25 to 26 degrees. Moreover, the moment of the full moon presents a rather ambiguous picture in the sky with some interesting aspects, but let's examine everything in order. First, let me remind you what a full moon is. Of course, it is a quite powerful astrological event when the moon is in opposition to the sun and reaches its full phase, symbolizing a certain culmination, completion, and the release of accumulated energies over a certain period of time. At the level of our lives, this is a time when we can gain sudden clarity about a situation, the revelation of some hidden aspects of life, inner revelations, or intensified emotions. The full moon is always quite an emotional event for us. And often, the full moon reveals what previously seemed unnoticed, what remained unnoticed. Of course, it can push us towards certain decisions that pertain to both personal and professional spheres, the completion of various projects, and the ending of relationships that no longer serve our tasks and life goals. And of course, during this time, certain tensions may increase, emotions may intensify, conflicts may arise, and there may be a need to reassess some of our internal beliefs, intentions, and desires. Moreover, the energy of the full moon emphasizes the balance of the spheres of life, which are defined by the houses of the horoscope and the zodiac signs. It is the full moon that requires us to harmonize a certain sphere of life between something and something, to make a choice between something and something, to harmonize. For example, personal life and career, or both our needs and the needs of those around us. And in order to work with the energies of the full moon, to ground these energies, it is very important to be in a conscious state and to consciously control our emotional reactions, because I remind you, the moon is primarily our subconscious, and here the subconscious can give us impulsive actions, impulsive reactions, and of course we need to find balance during this period between what needs to be released and what needs to be completed or transformed. Various practices such as meditation, gratitude, letting go of everything old and unnecessary, and clearing space help us significantly during this period. Reevaluating and prioritizing our goals and desires in life allows us to ground the energy of the full moon and gain clarity. Now let's discuss the influence of the zodiac sign on this full moon, which is in Taurus. Of course, the zodiac sign imposes its filter on the energies of this astrological event. And the full moon in Taurus emphasizes themes of stability, comfort, material abundance in our lives, and inner peace. Taurus is an earth sign. It symbolizes stability, resources, and values. And the full moon here raises questions related specifically to financial well-being, a sense of security and harmony in everyday life, meaning this is a period when we can identify our true needs for stability and security. It is a time when we can uncover certain material and emotional attachments that need to be released and eradicated, which hinder our development. Of course, the influence of Taurus makes the energies of the full moon quite slow but very powerful, capable of creating situations that require our patience and rational approach. And here, questions may arise related to financial investments, real estate, and caring for our body because the body is also physical and tangible. Or there arises a need to create a cozy space where we live. And of course, the emotions raised by the full moon in Taurus are specifically related to the feeling of comfort and stability. We may feel the need to get rid of something, that we may feel the need to implement this in life. The symbolic Taurus is our second house in the horoscope. And of course, it's all about finances, resources, and personal financial resources. It's about material goods and values, our relationship with the material world, the ability to earn and manage money, and the desire for comfort and security. By the way, the second house also corresponds to our self-esteem and the value we bring into this world, our skills, and some internal qualities. All of this is activated by the full moon in Taurus, these themes. Nevertheless, we also have the ruler of this full moon, which is Venus. Venus is the planet of love, harmony, beauty, and the pleasures of material values in our lives. It governs how we express our feelings, how we form our attachments, how we seek and receive joy in life, revealing our tastes, aesthetics, and relationship to comfort. It is responsible for how we interact in personal or business relationships. Additionally, of course, it's about money, financial preferences, and the manner in which we enjoy the blessings of life. Sometimes even questions of luxury, art, and beauty. All of this is Venus. Venus is currently transiting through the earth sign of Capricorn, activating themes and energies of stability, maturity, and responsibility, especially in the realm of personal relationships and values. During this period, qualities such as seriousness and dedication are emphasized, as well as some structure and organization, and all of this manifests in romantic, business, or friendly connections. Venus in Capricorn strives for reliability and security. During this period, we may particularly reflect on the durability and long-term nature of our relationships or financial investments. When Venus is transiting through the zodiac sign of Capricorn, of course, values shift towards pragmatism and quality. Our material expenditures become more thoughtful and are directed towards acquiring more durable and useful items. In relationships, for example, there may be a transition to a more serious level or a complete ending of relationships that do not satisfy us. This involves establishing clear boundaries and expectations. Capricorn is generally associated with career and social status. Venus here can stimulate an additional desire to achieve success, specifically in professional activities, to create a solid reputation and to build harmonious business connections. Now let's consider the symbolism of the degrees of Taurus, where this full moon occurs. The 24th degree of Taurus is a symbol and image represented in the form of a fiercely galloping Indian warrior who has human scalps on his belt. Such an interesting picture. And the interpretation of this symbol is that we manifest some aggression of our instincts when we fight for some earthly basis of action, for a physical and tangible manifestation of something in our lives. Thank you. And in mythology in early America, the Indian represents a savage who is closely connected to nature, lives by nature, and remains somewhat subservient, guided by primal human instincts. In the present time, the manifestation of these instincts can sometimes occur and lead to some violence. That is, some of our awareness may be turned off here, and only instincts are at work, and the symbol implies a certain cruelty and aggressiveness as the foundation of human nature, at the level of emotions, at the level of a certain culture. That is, this degree demonstrates to us that even in our modern civilized time, we can believe that instincts and attachments defined in our culture can generate some violence and conflict. And we can emotionally believe that violence is capable of protecting our values and our identity. This demonstrates the 24th degree to us. But if we return to the new moon in Taurus in May 2024, it occurred at the 18th degree of the sign, and the symbol of this degree shows us the image of a woman who is hanging her old bag out of the open window of her room. Such a picture. And here the key to decoding is that one needs to purify their ego consciousness. That is, considering that the symbol indeed presents us with a female figure, it emphasizes this bag and ultimately the need to cleanse one's consciousness, to free one's mind from old attachments and illusions. This cleansing of perception creates space for a deeper and higher level of awareness in our development, our inner harmony. It gives us the opportunity to go beyond our limitations and achieve new spiritual growth. Thus, we can observe the trend of our development through certain experiences. And, by the way, I remind you that to understand in which area of life this occurs, you need to know in which house of the horoscope the full moon in Taurus is happening for you. If you combine the information of these degrees, you can see a very deep connection between the cleansing of the inner world and our struggle for survival and cultural differences. Here, the importance of working with internal conflicts and limitations is emphasized, the necessity of cleansing and the need for transforming our perception. And here, it is necessary to come to the realization and liberation from selfish attachments in order to avoid destructive manifestations of our aggression and violence in relationships, and instead rise to a higher level. Harmony and balance in any interactions is the very balance I mentioned at the beginning, how the full moon works as an astrological aspect of our lives and harmonizes a specific area of life. Keep in mind that the waning moon will affect us until December 1st, 2024, inclusive, and some concluding processes will unfold precisely during these 2 weeks, when we will need to either finish something or achieve a result to see the outcome. We look again at the houses of the horoscope where the full moon occurs. We close the period from May 8th to November 15th, 2024. And by the way, if you made any notes of plans, intentions, tasks, or goals during the new moon in Taurus on May 8th, now is the time to return to those notes and outline what was achieved. Now, let's look at some key aspects in the sky that are active at the time of the full moon, aside from the transit of Venus. So the first thing I mentioned is the retrograde Uranus in Taurus, a direct participant in this full moon with a difference of 1 degree. It adds elements of surprise, change, and some internal upheavals to this event. Uranus is the planet of revolution, the planet of innovation. And in its retro phase, it directs its energy inward. It makes us reconsider our old beliefs, ideas, and approaches. And when Uranus is also in Taurus, it touches upon, of course, the themes of material values, security, and familiar structures. Retrograde pushes us towards a deeper analysis and reassessment of these aspects. The full moon in Taurus is a culmination in matters of the material world, values, and stability. It is associated with the completion of cycles, where it is necessary to leave behind some outdated beliefs and approaches regarding finances, resources, and comfort. This process of transformation becomes more internal, more conscious, simply because Uranus is retrograde. And of course, it can provoke unexpected discoveries, insights, and revelations about our own attachments to the material and how these attachments limit our personal growth and freedom. And the main influence of the aspect will manifest in that we may face the necessity, some changes in our financial stability regarding property security. Moreover, there may be very sharp, unexpected changes that can be unpleasant at the moment, and we may not be ready for them. But over time, we understand and realize that they play in our favor. Another participant in this astrological event is the star Algol. And let's take a look at its characteristics. It is located, by the way, 1 degree away from Uranus, and in ancient Greek mythology, it is represented and known as the head of a demon, or the devil's star. Quite a creepy sound. However, this star is associated with dark and dangerous energies, and it certainly has special significance in both mythology and astrology. It is Algol that is associated with the myth of Medusa Gorgon because it is located in the constellation Perseus, where the head of the Medusa is, and the myths claim that Perseus fought with the Medusa and cut off her head, which then it became a source of death for those who looked at it. And Algol symbolizes these destructive forces. They are associated with violence, death, and demonic powers. In turn, in astrology, Algol is attributed with a strong influence that is associated with pronounced negative traits. That is, it is a star of violence, fear, destruction, and great personal trials. And there may be moments when we face crises, especially regarding issues of power, control, cruelty, and violence. At the same time, Algol can also provide us with powerful transformations precisely through these crises, through insights, and allows us to free ourselves from the past. That is, it gives us the opportunity. The energy of this star represents certain extremes. That is, as I said, it is about destruction and mortality, but also about purification through struggle and transformation. Algol is indeed a catalyst for personal crises when we confront those parts of ourselves that we would prefer to ignore. Algol symbolizes forces that can manifest through aggression, influence, manipulation, and cruelty. And if we approach this consciously, at some point these forces can be transformed into something more powerful and aware. Naturally, to work through the energies of this star's action, it is essential to engage in conscious acceptance of the dark aspects of one's life, of one's sides, of one's personality, to use crisis only for growth through any means, therapy, self-discovery, various activities that allow one to free themselves from old traumas. And, of course, acceptance of power, that is, Algol is connected with the theme of power and authority. Here, it is important to learn to use these qualities constructively rather than destructively. In the comments, be sure to share how this aspect with Uranus and Algol plays out for you. In relation to the moon during the full moon in Taurus, I will also be very interested to see how it manifests in your life. Another aspect that is important to consider at the moment of the full moon is that the moon is in a trine with Pluto, which will soon finally move into a Dahlia just 4 days after the full moon. And this trine activates very deep processes of transformation in our emotional sphere, providing a very powerful influence on stability and the inner resources of each of us. The aspect contributes to such a deep transformation of personal values, emotional attachments, and the sense of security. And indeed, all of this may manifest through the need to reassess what brings us stability and comfort. And of course, this will bring certain changes in our material and emotional aspects. The trine of Pluto with the moon. It helps us work through old emotional traumas and fears, opening the way to healthier and more constructive experiences of living our lives. This is a time when we can radically change our approach to our own emotions. We can learn to let go of some old attachments and strengthen ourselves from within our inner resources. In personal relationships, especially in family or close connections, there may arise a desire to understand each other more deeply, to uncover some hidden emotional needs. And all of this will, of course, contribute to the harmonization of relationships over time through awareness and gradual personal growth. At the same time, the Sun is in Scorpio and is at the moment of the full moon in a trine with retrograde Neptune in Pisces. This aspect activates strong intuitive creative flows. It fosters our deep inner experiences and processes of self-discovery. That is, the aspect enhances the ability to perceive hidden truths, to intuitive understanding, and to penetrate some mystical aspects of our lives. The influence may blur the boundaries of reality, urging us towards the spiritual realm. The Sun in Scorpio focuses attention on hidden motives and transformations of our personal power. Retrograde Neptune during this period can contribute to rethinking some past misconceptions and ideals, giving us a chance to heal emotional wounds and rid ourselves of certain internal illusions. And the aspect can also create situations where we turn more and more to our creative side of personality. We are more cleansed from old energetic blocks. In relationships, by the way, there may be moments of deeper understanding of each other, especially on an intuitive level. And here it is important to avoid idealization and endowing the partner with unrealistic expectations. Another significant aspect at the time of the full moon is the aspect related to Venus, the ruler of this full moon, which is in a T-square with the North Node. The disharmonious aspect, however, contains quite a strong potential, creating a tense dynamic that is aimed at rethinking personal relationships, values, and the balance between personal independence and partnership. Venus in Capricorn focuses attention on serious pragmatic relationships, on the material aspects of love, and may make us think about the stability of our connections and their long-term nature. However, the square, the nodes, force us to pay attention to the lessons related to our individuality and harmony in relationships with others. Conflicts may arise between personal independence and the need for compromises with partners. During this period, situations may arise where one must choose between following personal interests and the desire to maintain independence or preserving balance and harmony in relationships. The T-square stimulates the need for growth and taking responsibility for one's feelings and actions. It encourages us to make active changes in personal relationships, and they provide such a radical overhaul of the approach to love and partnership. So it is important to catch these energies, learn to balance personal ambitions and the needs of others, and avoid excessive compromises that may suppress our personal freedom. Now, let's consider the influence of the full moon in Taurus for each of the 12 zodiac signs, how it will manifest in your life, and in which areas and directions to look, what to complete, where we will see clarity and culmination. Dear Scorpios, the full moon is in your 7th house of the horoscope, and of course the 7th house is associated with important relationships, including marital, business, and any other significant partnerships. The full moon here for you will emphasize issues of harmony, balance, or the completion of a cycle in your partnership relationships. This may be a moment when relationships that no longer satisfy you, that do not serve your growth, will require completion or some deep transformation in order to move to a new level of development. Here Here, it will also be relevant for you to review any business relationships, contracts, agreements, and business partnerships. And if here, situations will be created very well when you experience a rather strong feeling. There will be situations where you experience a strong sense of identity through interaction with other people, because the seventh house encompasses all our interactions with those around us. Through these interactions, we can refine our needs, our life goals, and understand the direction we are moving in. Here, you will encounter situations that require balance and harmony in all your relationships and interactions with others. To work with the energies of this full moon, pay attention to reassessing your relationships, whether they are personal or partnerships. Any interactions fall under the seventh house, including relationships with our clients and even with our open enemies, if that is relevant for you. It is very important to focus on establishing healthy boundaries in any interactions, whether they are romantic, marital, or business. It is very good here to close or renew any contracts, legal or business agreements, and to complete old projects and arrangements that have already come to their conclusion. Overall, it is very good to establish any balance in partnerships. In any case, this is a very good period for you. I wish you success. Subscribe, like, and share this video. Bye-bye.